Welcome to New Wave Global, and you are watching Unraveled with Marvi Sirmed. And this is episode number 119 of Unraveled. In today's show, we are going to cover three important happenings of last 24 hours. The first one is the latest on US-Iran war. This war has been going on for 3 months, over 3 months now. Iran had already very clearly had announced a number of times that Lebanon is its red line. And if Israel attacks again, it would be deemed as the end of the ceasefire. And that's what happened then. Iran, in its first move in many decades, attacked Israel in retaliation to what happened in Lebanon. This had, according to Trista Abbas of Quincy Institute here in Washington, D.C., this was absolutely extraordinary. This had never happened. This indicated actually a very alarming thing for Israel and thus for the United States, that Iran has the capability, not just the capability, but also willingness to retaliate any attack that Israel launches against any other country, any country in Middle East other than Iran. Even if it is other than Iran, if Israel launches attacks against that country, Iran has the capability, the willingness, the readiness to retaliate. And it did. Now, this was quite extraordinary, which actually alarmed not just Tel Aviv, but Washington, D.C. as well. And so the United States joined the attacks a couple of days ago on June 9. The CENTCOM, according to a readout from CENTCOM, they had the United States had launched attacks on multiple dozen, more than a dozen locations, targets in Iran. They have, according to the CENTCOM's readout, the press release it issued earlier on June 9, yesterday, Tuesday. According to the statement, America termed these attacks as in self-defense, attacks in self-defense. IRGC's press release, although called their attacks as retaliatory attacks because they hadn't attacked USA. Earlier in the day, Iran's different news media sources reported sounds of multiple explosions in several locations, including the port city of Bandar. It was not just in Tehran. It was the port city of Bandar Abbas. I'm actually reading the news stories reported by different media outlets, including Iran's news agency, Tasneem, and Reuters and AP. And I'm just comparing their different, what they have said, what is different. So all of them have reported that Bandar Abbas, Kashan Island, and the southern town of Sirik and Minab, they were hit by the U.S. attacks. So air defenses were also activated in western Tehran, according to these reports. Iran's another news agency, Mehr News Agency, reported that Iran's military had ordered the complete closure of Hormuz Strait to all vessels, including oil tankers and commercial vessels, in response to which America, actually U.S. forces, they earlier the CENTCOM's website showed an operation on one of the vessels to vacate it, but there were no casualties, as was reported in the U.S. media. And then there were Iran's retaliatory attacks. There were several strikes on the US military vessels. And then once again in the evening, tonight, earlier this evening on June 10, there was another stern message, statement from President Trump that there will be, there will be total destruction in Iran, etc., etc. And then there were attacks on Iran, several attacks on Iran. Our next news story is about the military helicopter, Pakistan military's helicopter MI-17 that was crashed. And according to the latest press release by Pakistan military's media wing, inter-services public relation, that the crash happened because of a technical fault in the helicopter, and the helicopter was crashed in Pakistan administered Kashmir earlier today, Wednesday, June 10. Unfortunately, according to the ISPR's statement, all military personnel on board were killed in the attacks in this crash. The military did not immediately disclose, at least up till now, how many people were aboard the helicopter. Maybe when you will end up watching this episode, there might be some more details. But as of now, this is in Washington D.C. It is almost midnight between 10th and 11th June. So this crash occurred near Muzaffarabad, which is the capital of the Pakistan-administered Kashmir region. It happened during an ongoing. There was a protest and strike going on, which was called by the Joint Awami Action Committee. This was a citizens' rights committee, but the government recently banned this alliance. This is actually an alliance of various groups, various rights groups. So the military, according to the statement that I was reading, it did not suggest any link between the protest and the crash. And also, I was reading the reporting by different news outlets, especially the Associated Press. The report says that the witnesses. It quotes the witnesses as saying that the helicopter crashed shortly after it took off from the helipad. The ambulances arrived at the scene and transported the victims to the nearby hospital. Rescue and recovery teams immediately reached the crash site. But unfortunately, it was later disclosed that none of the victims survived. The military has also said that a board of inquiry had been ordered to determine the exact cause of the crash. Residents in Muzaffarabad have also said that the helicopter was carrying an unspecified number of paramilitary forces, the Rangers, deployed by the government for security duties in the region during these protests, which have been going on for quite some time now. They have turned violent, and we will cover the story in our next episodes, one of our next episodes. The tensions have been, high, especially since the weekend, when members of this group, Joint Awami Action Committee, this is now outlawed group, they attacked police, according to the reports. And unfortunately, we have no way of verifying these accounts. These are largely coming from the the government associated personnel, officials, or media persons. Unfortunately, media is working in that area under very, very high scrutiny. So there is no way of independently verifying this. But according to these reports, this recently outlawed group, which is basically claims to be the citizens' rights group alliance, they allegedly attacked the police and security forces and killed four security personnel. There were also allegations of security personnel killing at least one of the member of the group. We will cover this story in detail, what happened, why the protests were happening, and what are the claims and counterclaims on both sides. But focusing on this particular crash, some witnesses have reported to have said that they saw smoke, coming from the crash site, and several ambulances were also seen transporting the victims. Pakistani President Asif Ali Zardari and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif have expressed, of course, sorrow over the crash, and they paid tribute to those the victims of the crash, and they also conveyed sympathies to the victims' families. Of course, Pakistan's army chief, which is now Chief of Defense Forces CDF, Field Marshal General Asim Munir, who has been given the title of Field Marshal now, he has also expressed deep sorrow over the crash. These crashes are not uncommon in Pakistan. And an army helicopter was on a routine flight earlier in last September, and it crashed in northern Pakistan. It killed both of its pilots and 3 technicians who were on board. This has been happening quite frequently in Pakistan and actually also in India. India's former one of the army chiefs has also died, passed away in one of these crashes. But anyway, we hope that this will be sorted out in the inquiry report, and appropriate actions would be taken so that these tragic crashes do not happen again. Last story of today's episode is about 2 influencers, 2 American influencers, Hasan Piker and Cenk Uygur. So Cenk Uygur is basically a Turkish-American influencer who is the founder and co-host of the Young Turks. It's quite an old, more than 10 years ago, he established this channel in which he's actually famous for expressing political dissent, and he's considered a progressive. Actually, is called left wing. Both of them, Hasan Piker and Uygur, both of them are called left wing influencers. They have quite a following. Hasan Piker is a host of his own podcast on the streaming platform Twitch, and the Young Turks is a very successful channel on YouTube and on the podcast as well. So on June 1, when both of them had to, they were leaving for UK for a couple of events where they had to speak together and separately as well, in different events. So they arrived at the airport and they found out that their visa for entry into UK has been revoked. So Britain blocked Cenk Uygur and Hasan Piker, who is Cenk's nephew, basically. Both of them US quite popular influences. So UK blocked them from entering the country, and they were scheduled to speak at different events. So Cenk, as I said, that he hosts a very popular show on the Young Turks, and so does Piker. His podcast on Twitch is very popular as well. They get thousands and thousands of views every day. Both of them have accused that they have been barred by the UK because of their views on Israel. The British Interior Ministry, on the other hand, has said that the travel authorization for these individuals had been cancelled as their presence in the UK may not be conducive to the public good. That's the exact quote. Their presence in the UK may not be conducive to the public good. And they have said this in a statement which is out there too. For you can just Google and say and see. Now, it's amazing how they keep, they means the right wing white influencers and their governments, actually. The governments in the UK, in some countries in Europe as well, in USA, the politicians, key politicians, the conservatives, the influencers, they keep saying that Israel is actually the flag bearer of Western values, and that merits West's support for Israel, no matter whatever it does. Now, that begs me a question: what exactly are the Western values, if not freedom of speech, if not democracy, if not, fundamental freedoms? If these are not Western values, what are? And if these are Western values, we don't see it in the West anymore. We don't see it in USA, we don't see it in UK, we don't see it in many of the European countries. So the latest example is this: Cenk Uygur, Hasan Piker, banned from entering UK just because of their opinions, and banned by a government of Labour Party, which is supposed to be more tolerant, more progressive, more left-wing, as they love to categorize themselves. The progressives in the Western world, they categorize themselves as the left-wing when they are opposing the extreme right ideologies. I don't know what makes them left-wing, but well, okay. So, okay, what is the original sin of Uyghur? Cenk Uygur. So many things. I mean, they are, both of them are very, very anti-Israel's policy, and I mean anti-Israeli government, anti-Israel's policies, anti-genocide that Israel is doing in Gaza. They are anti everything that is conservative and right, and they are both progressive. People here call them left-wing commentators, and very popular among the young progressive people in USA and in UK as well, because they were invited in these events, and there were scores and scores of people were to attend these events. I think a few weeks ago, Cenk Uygur on X said that Israel was following Nazi logic, when commenting on Israel's attacks on Lebanon. And he also said, supporting Jerusalem was like being on the side of terrorists. He used that word, being on the side of terrorists. And Hasan Piker, on the other hand, has said, that Hamas was 1,000 times better than Israel, and he would vote for Hamas over Israel anytime. Before that, in 2019, Hasan Piker has also said during a podcast that America actually deserved 9/11. But to be fair, after making this remark, he subsequently, almost immediately said that this particular remark was inappropriate and he shouldn't have said that. But this remark has never left him. The entire MAGA world and MAGA universe and Republicans, they never tire of citing this remark when criticizing Piker. And Hasan Piker also described Hamas, that Hamas carried out, these allegations of Abbas using sexual violence. And he said that the recent allegations on Israel forces of using sexual violence against the Palestinian Arab detainees. He has he also said that Hamas carried out sexual violence during the October 7 attacks on Israel as rape fantasies. And insinuating that they were not true, they were just made up fantasies. And it happened during a live video that streamed in 2024. June 2024. So these have been some of the controversial stances of Hasan Piker, but Cenk Uygur has been consistently, if you watch his show on the Young Turks, he has been consistently standing up and raising his voice against the Israel's attacks, Israel's violence, Israel's actions in Gaza, the genocide of Palestinian people in Gaza, and America's policy of supporting Israel no matter what it does. And he has been quite stern in his criticism, and both of them have now been banned by the UK government. So he was just joking around on one of those channels. He has been interviewed by various legacy media channels who do not like him, by the way, because legacy media in the USA is very, very pro-Israel. You cannot say anything. Their reporting is quite biased. Also, you must have noticed, if you haven't, start noticing, start comparing what is happening and how it is being reported by the US media, legacy media outlets. So anyway, they are not much of a fans of Cenk Uygur, but he was invited by a couple of them in past few days after the UK banned them, just to know what Uygur says, how he takes it. He has been quite he has been quite blunt about it. He very clearly says this is because of Israel, and he jokingly said in one of the interviews that he can get away with, he cannot criticize Israel. He will not be able to enter UK if he criticizes Israel, but he can get away with criticizing UK itself. He will criticize UK and UK will not ban him. Such is the power of Israel's government. That's what Cenk has been saying ever since he was banned. And that is something to think about. I would say by the entire Western world, not just UK, because these things are happening with different intensity and frequency in almost the entire Western world. And when Western world is trumpeting about Western values, it needs to think about this. Anyway, that is all from our newsroom today. We will be back with next set of stories and explainers, of course, and we will try our best to invite the best of commentators to unravel different issues for you. Thank you, and do subscribe. And if you like our shows, kindly do give us a thumbs up. That helps. Have a good one. Bye-bye.